Hi, welcome to this energy healing treatment. We've been doing this for the last 5 years. My name is Jim Lal-Tabak. I'm a yoga teacher, energy healer, and health and wellness coach. Tonight, I'm going to talk about and work on any pain issues that people may have, and if you're having anything that it's either, that there's discomfort or pain. And sometimes you may not feel any pain. So you sometimes moving a certain way creates pain. So what I would suggest is not doing it excessively, but just move enough to notice where the pain comes up. Or sometimes it's a memory. If you have a memory and that causes tightness or tension or some kind of discomfort in your body, then notice that if you're thinking about something. So there are different ways to bring up this physical manifestation of that pain. So one is just that it's present. Two is that you move a little bit and you feel it. Some might only come when you stand or put weight on it or touch it, or and it disappears when you don't. So test it out, find how you experience the pain, and then we'll come back to it and see and retest it. So, and the other is, of course, then what I was mentioning before, thinking about it or remembering or even worrying about something in the future. So, yeah. So let's move ahead with I'll start with some general um, corrections. If you have a specific pain experience right now, you can put it in the chat, and then I'll address it. But I will, until that happens, and in case more people come on, then you can, I'll ask again. But if you have anything right now that you have an experience of, you can put it in the chat, as I still am going to do some general clearings, corrections for any kind of pain. And pain associated with trauma, of course, is also part of the clearing that I'm going to work on. And it could be from childhood or, any kind of thing that you've experienced over time. So some people are coming on later, so I'll um, restate it a little bit as they come on. I'll wait another minute, but I'm doing general corrections now for those of you just coming in. So for those of you who are just coming in, is just suggesting that you make a note of any pain in your body. It can come just from sitting quietly. If you feel some kind of negative experience, or you movement causes, triggers it, or thoughts of the past, the future may trigger a physical experience as well. So these are the things we want to also will circle around back and recheck, see how you experience the pain after part of the treatment. So just relax if you're just coming in, and I'm doing general treatments, clearings, and if you have specific pain area that you want focus on, I'll then target that. So you can put it in the chat if you'd like to have some extra focus on anything in particular. Some of them can be from injuries from accidents, or perhaps an illness, or internal disharmony, emotional, physical, mental, psychological, psychic, and spiritual. So there can be any number of influences regarding those things as well. So we want to, energetically, they can be cleared. The influences can be adjusted so that they're not impacting you in that negative way. But the other thing is that I want to impress upon you is to remember that the actual pain itself is what is necessary to discover the problems. If you don't have any kind of discomfort or pain, you don't know that there's a problem, or you won't look for the problem. So it's a different way of looking at, and for some people it might be, but if you know that the pain is the messenger, not it's just a symptom of the issue that's underlying. And so if we clear and correct and repair, so to speak, the underlying issue, then the symptom doesn't have anything to push it into your awareness. So there's something caused or called referred pain or referred experience. So there's these referred, they're coming from either another place in the body, or outside the body, or another different aspect of who you are, even, or from another time and space, can be like a whole quantum, sort of strand that needs to be, perhaps, if we can try, we can, what happens is we don't know exactly what it is. There are multiple factors, but we can experiment and say, well, I'm going to cut those strands, right? Cut those cords and see if they are like it's kind of like you cut the cable on the power cable, and then the light goes out, right? Or cut so we cut off that issue. It's contributing, but then something else may then kick in, even though we've cleared that one thing. So we have to clear multiple issues in terms of, some things do let go when we do that. So, but anything from ancestral, when I say it, I'm clearing it, ancestral connections and ancestral influences, um, past, some people believe in past life things, and so we want to clear all those. Um, and sometimes you don't know why you do something or why something keeps recurring. And there's some sort of patterning going on, like a repetition of a experience. Clear any of those fields of, it's almost like there's this template that we're living in. We can't see the template. It's sort of in the shadows of our awareness. And there's a, saying somewhere that, if you don't, I forgot how it goes, but exactly, but we're something about awareness and then doomed to repeat it unless we really confront it or something like that. You have to really confront it, and otherwise we're going to keep repeating. What is that? What is that under the surface that keeps us either locked in our pattern or and these are just coming up, so I'm clearing them as they uh, come into my awareness too. So when we might think about, if depending on what you're coming up against in your fears, if you have, some, um, I'm not repeating what's in the chat, but I am working on it. And there's a question. Karma, is it our turn to suffer? Well, it's always our turn to pay attention. And that's the way I look at it. If it's everything that comes my way is a knocking on the door, like, hey, pay attention, make a change, adjust your life. What do you need to learn? And that's so then the it's not going to be suffering anymore. It's going to be and not running away from it either. I ran away from pain, I think, most of my life. And the more I ran, it's almost like stuffing feelings in the body, stuffing and not saying how you're feeling about something, and it gets more and more stuffed, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and people have emotional, spray, so to speak. And so yeah, you want to see if you can learn to let that pain, those feelings, those discomfort, all those things come up and confront or address them, so that you can take care of that. And it's a life process. It's not something you just do once, and it's not something it's almost like this practice that of learning to um, live and feel those feelings, so that you can um, and seeing that they are the growth that's needing to happen. And it might be sometimes it's not ours. That happens too. So I'm going to clear anything that isn't part of that you need to learn from. Sometimes we take on other people's stuff, um, and and that's in our how we've been brought up. That, oh, it's better to suffer, and sacrifice yourself for someone else. We're going to sacrifice ourselves so someone else is feeling better. But really, what we're doing is denying the person the opportunity to change, to grow, to deal with their own stuff. And at least that's the way I look at it. And that we need to um, sit with our things that we need to grow from, and let others have theirs. And that is then we're allowing others to have their lives, um, their experiences, and we get to have ours. And that doesn't mean we don't care about them, doesn't mean we don't try to help them, but we don't take on that stuff. And that's really an important difference. And it can sometimes it can require, or being tough with someone and really setting strong boundaries, and not allowing abuse or something like that. So anyway, yeah. So I want you to circle back again, for those of you that especially were here earlier at the beginning, and I asked you to look at any pain or discomfort and see if it was either like a freestanding, so to speak, um, pain, or something that comes up when you put weight or movement, either weight or movement or stress on something, or a thought, or a memory, or a future or a past that can cause discomfort. Any of those things, emotional, mental, physical, and see how it feels now. See if it's changed. See if if you feel different in your body. So the feeling in the body, or the feeling, the feelings about, like, if you're worrying about something, see if those that has um, adjusted a little bit or resolved at all. If not, also this is a kind of more of a feedback kind of treatment. So if you're still feeling um, the same, if you're feeling the same, or if it's improved, or if it's, maybe it's worse, let me know if you can, if you want to. And 80% better. Thank you, Diane. Good to hear. And we'll go for 100% if we can right now. Sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, and it's not always easy to do within this kind of time constraint, but great to hear that. sometimes we feel like we have to make things happen, and when really we have to allow things to, just be patient too, and let things resolve and sort of unfold. Almost like trying to, when a plant is growing, you say, "Wow, come on, grow faster," or grow up, grow up, and and it doesn't really work. So, um, in a sense, there's this surrendering to the the nature of existence, that things will um, will work out. But we can't just make it. We can't force it to happen. We can um, perhaps some of the things that I've used are forgiveness, love, um, owning my part, um, letting go of control. Some of those things can also then help with uh, allowing things to resolve instead of grasping on. Resentments are always a great way to hold on to something. Anger, resentment, great way to keep, or just repeating the same habits over and over. I know that if I use this, if I'll clean this thing, clean this window, I've been cleaning it for a long time, but it still stays dirty. So I'm going to try it again, see if I can clean it. And then you work and work and work, doing the same behavior over and over. And it still, for some reason, maybe we don't have the right cleaning supplies. Maybe the window that's the way it looks. I don't know. But yeah, thank you. Yeah. So that's a good thing. Taking 100% responsibility for yourself, not for everything going on, but for your own stuff. That's the difference. That's a big difference. Thanks, Diane. So in this treatment, really isn't much, some treatments, I'm asking you to do different little bits. For this one, you don't do anything. You simply pay attention, um, and and see what happens, so to speak. Letting go more than anything. If there is something to do, it's like do nothing, do nothing, just observe. And I guess that's something, but maybe even not observing, letting things just unfold. And again, letting things unfold, I guess we're doing something. So I don't know how to say, how do you back out of doing something, right? Because it's always, it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm doing something. How do we stop doing, right? As soon as you feel like you're trying to control, that's a really big um, red flag. That's a signal, when you have to ask yourself, am I, trying to get this to be what I think is right, a judgment, what I think is supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to do something here where I send everything, all these negative experiences out into a black hole. So they get sucked away, kind of like a vacuum cleaner. Mm. One more time before we sign off. Just check in with your body, with your thoughts, feelings. Bring your hands to your heart center in a prayer type namaste position. Take a few nice, easy breaths. Express and feel gratitude. So, gratitude is a feeling. It can be a feeling, not simply, well, you think of something you're grateful for, but you feeling that gratitude. That's what we want to learn how to do. Feel the gratitude for whatever. It's almost like the feeling, we can say, oh, love, but how does it feel when love is experienced, either receiving or giving? Let's turn our palms out. Take a nice deep inhalation, exhale, and send that love, gratitude, forgiveness out, any kind of healing thoughts out into the universe, into the whoever. You can send it direct, or you can send it in a broad gift to all beings, all things, everywhere. The planet, solar system, the galaxy, the universe, or to a loved one in need, specific or general. Send it all out, letting it go. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we'll see you next week. Probably the same date, but I will always give you guys a heads up if things change. So last week was the holiday, and I kind of got swept away in the holiday. But next week, if I get a conflict, I'll let you know on Monday. And otherwise, we're planning on meeting on Monday. So peace, namaste, and thanks for being here. And see you next time.